So Tulsi Gabbard drops out of the Democratic Party. This is actually fairly big news with ramifications, which I'm going to discuss momentarily. First, I'm going to let Tulsi describe, in her own words, her thoughts.
I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers who are driven by cowardly wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti-white racism, who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution, who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality, who demonize the police but protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding Americans, who believe in open borders, who weaponize the national security state to go after their political opponents, and above all, who are dragging us ever closer to nuclear war. Now, I believe in a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people. Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite. Now, I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democratic Party. If you can no longer stomach the direction that the so-called woke Democratic Party ideologues are taking our country, then I invite you to join me.
She says what many people are thinking. The difference is that Tulsi Gabbard is one of the first stones of what might be an avalanche. She calls out the anti-white racism of the Democratic Party. I've been doing so for quite some time. I'm completely independent. I have that luxury. Others who do, of course, are pilloried and attempted to be canceled. But with somebody with the status, with the following that Tulsi does, this gives other people permission to do the same. Many people hold back, not wanting to stick their neck out first. As human beings, we're group animals, and nobody wants the predator to go after them. So here you have the big horse that cannot be taken down by the cowardly jackals of the left that is going out there and stating this. And if you want examples, just take a look anytime there was a mass shooting, like the Boulder, Colorado shooting, where they originally thought it was a white person. And on Twitter, the left was just pillaring it as another white hate crime. Then it turned out to be a Syrian person, immigrant, and they went back to the guns. Anytime, and this was the same thing with Uvalde, it was all about the guns. If it had been a white person, it would have been another white hate crime. Look, you can find endless examples of this. My point is merely the fact that Tulsi was the first big stone in what might be an avalanche. Now, why is this even more important for the midterms? There are many people in the Democratic Party. Well, we have sane politicians. Not everybody is Elizabeth Warren and AOC. No, we've got Tulsi. You've got a sane Democratic politician. You have some people in the middle. Tulsi has disavowed the party. It does not take that many people to switch over. So if it's a 0.5% swing, that could alter a race. That could potentially give the Senate to the Republicans if it was going to be a 50-50 split. Some people, 1 in 200 voters, switch over because they say, you know what, Tulsi called it out. Now it's okay for myself to go in that direction, and I'm following Tulsi away from the Democrats. She calls for this in her speech, as you just saw. I think that this could actually impact races, and we know that the Senate will be fairly close in terms of the numbers, and this might be the force on the tug of war, on the rope, that pulls some people over and shifts the balance to the Red Party. And I'm not a huge fan of the Red Party, but I agree with everything that Tulsi says. I am firmly anti-Democrat after being in the Democratic Party for my entire life, up until fairly recently. So my own political transition, because I'm generally not the first person to notice things, but I'm generally at the forefront, and many more people will be noticing and be given permission unconsciously to do the same by a leader and somebody as kind, as generous, as honest as Tulsi Gabbard is. So in this way, this might have a profound effect on the midterm races and the balance of power, and hopefully we'll be able to see some congressional action and hauling Tony Fauci in front of a firing squad. Not a literal one, just the Senate. I want to see Dr. Rand Paul go at him endlessly. Don't you?